Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you, and it has been a long time, but we won't go into the details of that today because I want to keep this brief and short. But I am back with some more Tyranid goodness for you today, and this has been a really short video where I just wanted to give you my hot takes on the up and coming codex. I don't have it in my hand, I don't have those luxuries unfortunately, but I've digested in the typical Tyranid style all the information that's out there on the interwebs from those lucky folks that do have the codex in their grubby little mitts. Those undeserving hive commanders out there, but I have digested that information. I just wanted to let you know what I think. What you will get from me, that you won't get from a lot of other people, is I'm a Tyranid player. So it's not just a kind of flash in the pan. I'm not looking for it just for a quick flirt with potentially a meta army for a little bit. I'm not looking for necessarily the stuff that is broken and that will get nerfed within 2 seconds, but I'm looking for a sustainable army that we're going to enjoy using through this new edition, and what I think potentially ticks those boxes and how I feel the flavour of the codex is. So my hot takes, I really like it. So what I like is I like the flavour. It's keeping with that 10th edition feel of a much simplified way of working. So yes, you still have some identity to your army, so you can change it to meet a feel and a theme that you're going for, but it's taking away a little bit of that complexity that we had in the prior edition, and I don't think that's a bad thing because it makes that that kind of level of entry a lot easier for newer players, and if you're switching to the army, it makes it a lot more digestible. So I've not got a problem with that whatsoever. I don't mind that kind of that build philosophy that Games Workshop have gone for. But anyway, let's dive in there. So what are my kind of hot takes? So I really like I think it's called the Hive Nexus, which is the brainy bugs. So each of the different detachments that you're going to be able to build are kind of themed and give you buffs around a specific type of Tyranid unit or units. So they're all around building your army on the whole with a kind of theme. So are you going to go for all brainy bugs? Are you going to go for all sneaky bugs? Are you going to go for quick little bugs? Are you going to go for big bugs? And so on and so on. For me, I love the brainy bugs. So I love the Maliceptor. I really like the new Neuro Tyrant. I cannot wait to get my hands on the brand new Norm Emissary. And I like Zoanthropes as well, and of course the old Neurothrope. And the Doom of Malentine was one of my all-time favourites from back in the day. So for me, there's a no-brainer. Love it. That's the way I think I'm going to build into. I love the resiliency of what you're going to get, which is an awful lot of 4+ invulnerable save across your army, because majority of those units do tend to have that. That brings you quite a lot of resilience. The psychic output is quite potent as well. So a lot of these units are psychic units, so they have the ability to put out quite a lot of damage. Psychic abilities generally are fairly short range, so it will be a middle of the board type of army, but I quite like that. I like the opportunity to kind of take the board in the middle, try and be resilient, take some objectives, be able to be quite adaptive to how that mission state is. I like that idea, and I think there's quite a lot of play there. I'm kind of toying with the early thoughts of maybe taking 3 emissaries. You might be thinking I'm crazy, but I love the idea of a potential army that could be very hard to shift, quite punchy, and will look absolutely epically cool on the board. So that's kind of, I suppose that's where my initial build philosophies and mindsets going with. I love the Maliceptors, so kind of like a couple of Maliceptors, 2 or 3 emissaries, loads of Zoanthropes, I think sounds absolutely wicked. So that's kind of where I'm going with at the moment. I mustn't forget the old Neurolictor as well, who looks awesome, who will also fit perfectly in that. What are my other kind of takeaways? Well, I am a bit disappointed with the Crusher Stampede because I love my big bugs, as everyone will know. and that definitely has taken a bit of a hit. It doesn't seem quite as strong as potentially prior big bug builds, but it still could be fun, and I still think that, in my opinion, at the moment, the way to build your best Tyranid list right now is to absolutely optimize with the most amount of high toughness big bugs, and absolutely just drive that way. Yes, you will find you get mismatches. We know that Eldar will put that army away pretty quickly, and there are some other armies that can do it as well. But those armies will almost certainly, and particularly we're looking at you pointy-eared ones, get the treatment very soon and will be nerfed into oblivion. Fingers crossed, because everybody hates Eldar. Me particularly always have done. So taking that into account, having an army of predominantly big bugs, and that's how I've been running up to now. Obviously, I've been hiding in the background, just doing a lot of testing in the workshop, so to speak. And I do feel that if you can spam as many different varieties of big resilient bugs, you'll do very well on the battlefield, and that's given me my most success. It can be swingy, but works really effectively. So, but yeah, a little bit disappointment that I don't think that that's necessarily, it's not getting any stronger. It's kind of staying where it is. I think there's a lot of potential in building a kind of a horde list. It's never been my style, but I think there is some fun to be had there, and you can definitely be incredibly aggressive with an army that is going to be on your opponent's doorstep after a couple of turns, by all those quick surging moves. I think it'll be fun. Very aggressive army, great ball control. I think it will be good, but it's not my style, let's say. But it might be one of the stronger ways to build. Then we've got the old sneaky Vanguard units, which is cool. That's all your kind of Lictors, Gene Stealers, all the sneaky guys. They're being billed as probably the most competitive, and I can see why that would be. The ability to kind of fall back and charge is really, really strong. Advance and charge is incredibly strong as well. So, you know, I can see where that comes in, and there's quite a lot of variety there, because from what I'm gathering, that also includes a lot of the flying bugs as well. So definitely one to watch, and those models are cool, because there's a lot of those new cool Lictor, Neuro Lictor, the Death Leaper, Gene Stealer. There's a lot of those epically new cool models that everyone wants to get their hands on, so I can understand why that would be very, very desirable for a lot of NIB players, and I'll definitely give it a go. I like the idea of it as well, and I think it might be the strongest. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's also great to think that, you know, if you're a newer player and you just get into grips with the army, you've got a detachment there which is absolutely copy and paste from the index, so you don't even need to worry. So the great thing again is yes, there's going to be some point changes, maybe a few little tweaks we've seen, but you can almost use the index still and carry on playing it. So there's kind of not necessarily that massive, you have to get the codex this second or everything's going to be invalidated. It feels like a lot of it you're just going to be able to carry on as you are. If you're a player that, you know, potentially financially can't afford to go straight out and buy the codex, you know, is new to Tyranids, that original way of codex playing will be viable, and I think that's a very clever move by Games Workshop that I really, really like. But yeah, so I think I've rambled on. That's my hot takes. What I'm going to do though, guys, is once I get my grubby little mix on the codex, we'll have a little bit of a talk through that. These will be back to my old standard style video. I'm making this video because I love making Tyranid Codex content and general Tyranid content. And if you've watched the end of this video, you probably enjoy watching that type of thing. But it's not going to be glitz and glatz. It's not going to be great effects. It's not going to be all the flashy stuff that you'll see on other channels or what have you. Production value will be pretty basic. You know, that's how I love to do things, because I just want to bring you the core information, my opinions as a Tyranid lover, and hopefully that is useful to you. But until the next video, I'm Aceface, I'm back, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye for now.